My name is Matt Wing. I'm a Essex, UK-based wedding photographer. Just a quick video I'm going to do. Been asked by a few people if I could explain my workflow from finishing a job, wedding particularly, and getting back to my office, ingesting the pictures, sort of tagging, selecting the pictures, through to editing in Lightroom and exporting. So I'm just going to give you a quick, maybe just a 5-minute intro before I do a proper video on this. So here we go. This is my website. Just got to start somewhere, haven't you? So I use a program called Photo Mechanic, quite well-known program, sort of industry standard for a lot of photojournalists, and becoming more so for wedding photographers as well now. I speak to a lot who use this program. So back from the wedding, I've got my two cards here, both plugged into my Lexar card reader, and I'll select both cards and I'm going to ingest them. So to ingest them, I would select a primary destination. My primary destination for this wedding, it's already done, is in my G drive, Thunderbolt drive, weddings, year, couple name, and then I always call it RAWs, so my originals. So use that. I've already done this, you can see, but for the purposes of this video, we use it. Generally, I'll have a secondary drive as well, but unfortunately I've had to plug my microphone in, and that's taken my second drive out of action at the moment. But in the first place, when I got back on Saturday from the wedding, I already done this, and it's already backed up to my second drive as well. Right, naming the images, I'll name them, personally I'll name them bride, groom, simple as that, nothing too complicated there, and I'll give it a number. Again, these some numbers have already come from the other day. Stationery, so how you tag the images, what the images are going to say, alt tags, headlines, descriptions, events, this sort of thing. Again, this is up to you, but I always use this. This was Shimani and Keith, Royal Overseas League, London, 20th of June. Again, I've used that for the headline, creator, my image, rights and everything in here, my photographer, copyright, the credit, the website, and status, your alt tags. Again, I always set them initially to the wedding venue. I'll go through these later on another time. This is just for me initially, so I've got some base down. Okay, so you would apply that to these images as well on the ingest. So there you go. You would then hit ingest and bring them in. I'm not going to do that now because I don't want another 31 gigs worth of imagery on my hard drive, but that's what would happen. So they would ingest reasonably quickly. Quick cards, good program as well. So I'll find them in my favourites. I'll show you where they are. 2016 weddings, Shimani Keith, and the RAWs. So here are the RAW images, all nearly 1200 of them. So I sort by capture time. I think that's done already. Yeah, I'll sort by capture time. So this is not standard for one of my weddings. Very little bridal prep indeed. Shimani wasn't too bothered about this, so I went in just a little bit with her. She wasn't too bothered about the makeup and stuff like that. And these are my original images straight out of the camera, going from all the way through the day. I'm just going to give you a quick look. Good and bad. I mean, some of the better ones. Confetti shots are always quite nice. So sun came out just at the wrong time here, but obviously these are unedited images. So to select what you would as your final images, I do this. It's quite a quick process for me, and generally I'll do this on the day I bring them back on the machine, but I haven't done this time, so we can do a few quickly now. So I would go into, let's just get down to some interesting stuff. So the computer's gone slow. There we go. Okay, so in the church before, it's Keith. And we would go through, right arrow keys. You can see how quickly the previews are generated by Photo Mechanic. You can go through one at a time. Simple key presses will take you through. So for example, we want to keep that image, we would tag it. You would do that by pressing T, and then say that, maybe that. This is just purely for example purposes. There's the bus outside, little one of the church. Wasn't Dad, even though I thought it was when I first got to the wedding. That was in fact an uncle. There we go, there's a couple of nice ones. Oh, there maybe. Okay, so you get the idea. Pressing T each time to tag. So we can shut that down now. We can then go into the selection process here. We are now going to select our tagged images. That will bring up our final tagged images from that set of imagery. That's how I select. We then select all of those. You would do that obviously across the whole wedding, selecting, in my case, it's generally 400 or 500 final images turned around from a day. Depends on the length of the day, but that's normal for me. And you would then, if I can remember myself right, I do this. Well, actually, I'll do it the other way. For this, you'd select every image that you've tagged. So in this case, it would only be 7, but generally, like I say, from a full wedding, it would be more. You can now drag these directly into Lightroom. Now, me personally, create a new catalogue for each wedding. I know some people don't, they go off of one, but I like to create new catalogues each time. So that's brought all the images in, and it's also tagged these 7. Right, let's just find one a second. I don't know. Anyway, if I click import, it will bring in the 7 that I've already tagged, or the 5 that I've already tagged, however many it was. And then we're into Lightroom, and again, some people do things different ways. Me personally, as you can see on the right hand side here, the captions are in, copyrights are all in, everything's tagged at the moment. Capture date, time, model was 560 this time, 7200 lens. So it gives you really useful information. Here we go, there's the final 2, a bit slow there. And then we can go into develop. Again, some people quick develop. I don't really do that. I go straight into the develop module, and then we're into Lightroom for a bit of development. So here we go. Again, presets, I use, I don't know how to say it, of course, but the tribal archipelago. It shows how much I know. But I use these, depends on the wedding type, but I will go through and I would use this as a base. Like the long neckers are quite nice. Also quite like the LX CO3s. So me personally, I would select one of, depends on the wedding type, but let's have a look. And then we would go in and tweak little bits at a time. I'm not going to do too much for this one. I'll just give you a little quick one of what I would do. Bring the oranges down slightly inside a very orange church. White balance might need a quick look as well. It's shot like that. Let's have a look. Maybe just a touch. Might even use this on the greys. Too much. Back to the whites. Yeah, closer to it. Shadows might bring them a bit. Don't want to lose the colour of the suits too much. Bit of vibrance perhaps. And we're getting something closer like what we'd do. Straighten it up. Probably go in also on this right hand side here and look at the chromatic aberration and lens profiles. And with the new Lightroom, of course, you've got the new guided straighteners as well, so you can use lines there, 1, lines 2, and keep things straight. Obviously you don't want to do that, but yeah, you get the idea. So there's one. So that's a very simple little quick 1, 2, 3 of how I go through and edit the imagery. Again, I might even, for some consistency, I might copy this now and run it through this image as well. Copy C, copy V, and we bring up these pictures were taken a few moments apart. So it's going to be almost the same final process. Yeah, you can play with it. Colouring's nice. Shadows again. This is a preference thing. What you feel is right. I just feel the oranges are just a little bit heavy on some of these presets, so I'll pull them back a little bit. Might pop the whites a little bit there as well. But anyway, so there you go. So for example, say I've done all 400 of the images. images, sorry. We're down to, I'm going to use these two as an example. This would be my export. Again, people do this in different ways. I generally do 2 exports. I do an export to Pixieset, which is my chosen online gallery and proofing area, and I would do that. I put images there that are generally 1600 pixels wide on the long edge. I'm just trying to think of the right place to put this in a minute, excuse me. Right, so Shimani key. Okay, so I would put this in, then I would probably call that Pixie and show the size. I'm going to put it in at 1600 on the wide, so I would choose that. I wouldn't change anything there, so I'll just put that there, pixels 1600, and this is purely for online gallery proofing. Pixels per inch and stay as it is, doesn't really make any difference. And there we would export those, just those 2 at the moment, the selected images. I would also select export at full res, or what I call high res, which to me is 18 by 12 inch, 300 DPIs. How I provide final imagery to clients. Again, a preference thing for me. I don't know how many of the clients need them this big, but I give them the option in case they want to get some wall art, canvases, that sort of thing done. So yeah, so very simple at that stage, and we're back to my website there. I think that'll do for the minute. I'll put something else up with a little bit more detail regarding Pixieset, which again I use, and then we'll go from there. Thanks very much.